man of the hour. Hang on, let me back up. The man with the plan, Mr. Casey Salge. Come on up, sir.
All right, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Can we give it back to Mr. Penso for that right there? Everybody feel that?
Yes.
Everybody feel what that's all about? That's such powerful stuff. That's going to be one of the major parts. I'm going to weave that in constantly for the remainder of our day because that's what it takes. That's everything there is for what we do. In anything, in absolutely anything. So, briefly, my story for a couple of y'all that don't know all the details of it, just so we're, as we always say, not strangers, because it's important to know, okay, who is this guy and why am I going to listen to him for the next couple hours? I've been doing network marketing now for close to a decade. As he mentioned, I've been in corporate America for close to 2 decades, running an IT division for project management. I build systems, that's what I do. I grew up watching systems being built. My parents had manufacturing, they did furniture. My mom sold it in a retail store. So when I grew up, it was get out of school and then go to the shop and work in the shop until the sun goes down, and then go in for dinner, and then after that, then do homework, then go to bed. So that's how it was growing up. That's what you do as an entrepreneur kid. I also learned that it was about providing value to other people. You have something that they would prefer to have and they don't want to go out and make it. You do it for them, then they'll give you money, and then you get to sleep indoors. So it worked out pretty good, good system. Then how can you make that efficient? Watching that in a factory, watching that growing up in a factory, seeing what goes into it, an assembly line process, raw material coming in on an 18-wheeler with a bunch of 2x4s and 4x4s and 2x12s and everything in between comes in, and then it goes in one door, and when it comes back out, it's in a box and it's furniture. And it's something that people will pay a whole lot more money than it was when it came in as 2x4s. And the better you are at building that, the more efficient that those processes are, better product that you have, more profit that you make. That's how my brain worked. That sent me down a path, just what I was influenced by. I got into computers, computer science, that whole thing. I saw that I could do the same concept of building stuff, because I like building stuff, that's just me. And I can do it in the air conditioning. It's a whole lot cooler, literally. I get to just do this. I don't get splinters anymore. I don't have to sand boards. There's 2 things that I will never do for the rest of my life. Mowing lawns and sanding boards. I won't do it. I don't care how much it's going to cost. If I don't have to eat to be able to pay for somebody else to do those 2 things, I'm going to do that. Those are the parts that I didn't really care for. So instead of doing that, what if you got a sander? What if you got something that was automated to be able to do that sanding for you? That'd be a pretty good idea. And that's the sort of thing that I grew up seeing. So with all of that, when I came into network marketing, it was as a result of a desire, that destination. I wanted the freedom. I didn't want to have to keep going to work. I got tired of sitting in traffic. It irritates me to no end. That's why I'm going to get a helicopter. That's the destination. That's also the vehicle. Yeah, it's good, right? So, because of that, because of the politics of dealing with people that have that scarcity mindset in corporate America, there's 3 types of people in corporate America. The people that hide underneath their desk so that they don't, get fired and all that stuff. They just show up, quiet, sneak around, you don't see them too much, staying under the radar. You've got the other ones that are actually going to try and lead the place and try to do better and improve and increase. And then you've got the others that look at those people as a threat and try to undercut them constantly so that they can get that spot and make more money while undercutting you. Anybody feel that right there? I choose not to be a part of that anymore. I don't want to be in that type of environment. So what am I going to do? I'm going to remove myself from that environment. Still like living indoors, still don't want to sand boards and don't want to mow my lawn, so I need something to be able to replace that. How do I go about doing that? There's this thing called residual income. That's the vehicle, not the destination. Destination is that I don't want to be in that environment anymore. You can have a destination be something that you want to achieve or something that you want to stay away from. You can have it be something that you hate, drive you. I don't want to be in that environment. I hate that environment. And that's going to be the fire and the fuel to be able to keep getting up and doing the other thing, driving the other vehicle to be able to get to where I want to go. So I did that. I went out, got that residual income through real estate. Got really excited, got that first house. Only took me $30,000 of investment to do it. Made $300 a month. As I say often, nobody claps during that part of the presentation. Loved the way I made that money though. It just showed up in the mailbox. Didn't have to do a whole lot more work for it. Had to do a whole lot of work to get that 30 grand to get the house to begin with. But after that, kept on happening. Oh, this is nice. I like this. Let's do this again. Another 30 grand to do it again. Got a second house. $300. It was actually $260 and $340, but averaged out to $300 a house. After I did that second one. Now, anybody got an extra 30 grand just laying around in the back, maybe underneath the dryer or somewhere? Took me 2 years to save that up. Rice and beans while doing it. The grind, like the Coleman lantern, pouring concrete at night. But it was worth it. That extra $600 was pretty cool. Taking too long. I'm impatient. Got to go faster. How do I make it more efficient? Real estate's an amazing vehicle. How do I get my 30 grand faster? There's this thing called network marketing. Oh, I've heard about those things. I don't do those things. Anybody ever tell you that? I was that guy at one point. Then I had that moment that says, wait a second, like Brian was mentioning, I'm the guy that's still sitting in traffic. I'm the guy that's sitting in traffic seeing the same guy to my right 2 days in a row on the same damn freeway at the same damn spot. Do I really know everything there is to know out there? Nope. So I decided to start listening because I wanted it bad enough and I didn't know how to get it yet. Knew what I wanted, didn't know how to get it. So I had to do some personal development. Had to increase my skills, had to actually see what was out there. Had to check this ego at the door because I wanted it more. Desire, ego. Used to be like this. Then it turned like this. Big moment. Let's go check into this thing. Let's see what it's actually all about. My buddy actually asked me, you're saying no, you don't even know what it is. Tell me what it is. That's a good question. I don't even know what it is. Maybe I should investigate with an open mind. So I did. Loved what I saw. Very interesting concept. I was sold. Let me do some research, did my research. I'm all in, let's play. Whole lot cheaper than $30,000 to play this video game. Remember going to your parents saying, can I have a quarter so I can go play that game? You never went up and said, can I have $50 to play that video game? This was a whole lot better video game. So let's get in there and figure it out. Oh, I was terrible. I sucked so bad. Oh my goodness. First time I did a presentation, that was humorous. We were literally in a gymnasium. Never got up in front of a room. I mean, I was freaking out. No lie. It was so bad that somebody thought about leaving. But there was only 3 people in the room, so they would have felt even worse leaving. So they stayed through. I went on and on and on and on and on and on. I have no idea what I said. I stood up, my mind sat down. Y'all heard that before, that's accurate. Next thing you know, I learned a couple things. Came to a couple of these types of trainings, Saturdays, weekends. Postponed an anniversary dinner to Sunday when I got back from Dallas in the other previous company I was with. Spent a lot of money going to different events, learning things. Made it to the top 350 out of 350,000 distributors in that company. Made it on the cover of 2 Success from Home magazines. Wasn't the same person anymore. A lot of development to do that. So that was my journey. I was hooked with it. Then everybody started bringing me a bunch of different opportunities to take a look at. And I remember that time sitting in traffic that I didn't know everything. And I would listen to different opinions. Saw a lot of other things before this, said no to every single one of them. I'm really good at saying no to people. I do not struggle with that at all. If I don't like it, I'm going to tell you I don't like it. You're going to have to deal with whatever you're going to have to deal with. I'm good. That's me. Not everybody's that way. That's one of the things I do. That's me, my personality. So I said no to a lot of things. I wasn't rude about it. I just say, no, not interested, and here's why. I wouldn't just say, not interested. I'd say, here's why. Because that was important for me to be able to tell them that. I might give them some value that they can see and make their game better. Then this came along. Kyani came along. I had just purchased another asset, another business, a couple months prior to Kyani coming along. It wasn't the right time for me. I had so many other things going on. I had a lot of plans in place. Then this came in. I had to check my ego at the door. I thought I had the best thing that there was, but at least kept an open mind to see what else was out there. Saw what was out there, saw this, asked some pretty hard questions. Didn't get the right answers from the people in the beginning. Hung up on a couple people. Got put in touch with the person that actually knew what they were talking about. And I was very, absolutely, utterly blown away by what I saw. Didn't believe what I heard on the phone, needed to come see it in person. Drove to Dallas to see it firsthand. Shook some hands, had some very good conversations with the people that actually needed to have those conversations with me, and saw what I needed to see. And then I jumped on board. Unbelievable journey to get to where we're at right now. That's my story. What I've done is I've taken a lot of years of observation, spending a lot of money, learning a lot of things from a lot of different people, pulling a lot of different things together because I build systems. And that's what we're going to discuss today. One of the great things that I saw in my journey is something called RP3 ATF. Does anybody remember that? Raise your hand if you remember what that is. Like what it was, didn't have everything, not just perfect, but an unbelievable revolutionary new concept that I, at first was, okay, my ego, my little terrorist goes off too. As let me look into this and see what it is. Let me test it, tinker with it, do what we do. Have been doing that now for close to a year. Doing the tinkering, investigating, messing with it. Since October 12th of last year, have been putting things in place, making some other changes to this little factory that we have here, and have had some amazing results, not just for me, because this business isn't about you. Can you help others do it? Doesn't matter what works, matters what duplicates. Because you don't want to keep doing this. You might want to go fishing one day. So you need to have something that can continue on, that will keep working and keep going and keep increasing, is what this is all about. What we're going to talk about for the remainder of the day is that, what that system is, how it operates, what are the parts of it. We're going to go deep on some of these so that you have understanding. But just like on a car, when you get in a car, it's a vehicle, ultimately. It's going to go from this point to that point. We just talked about figuring out where it is you want to go. That's half of it. The reason that the rest of the people are not in this room right now, they all joined for a reason just like you did. But they didn't know how to get there. They thought they might be able to do it. Then they got in the car and they said, I don't know how to drive this car. I want to go from here to there, but I don't know how to operate this vehicle to get there. They didn't see a way to achieve it. If you don't have both of those, you have to have what he talked about first. That's why we started with that. But you also have to believe that you can get there. You can have the greatest thoughts in the world on where you want to go, but if you don't see how you can get there, not going to happen. So all the people that have joined had that destination at some point, and they thought they could do it, or they wouldn't have joined. Let me give you a perfect example of that I was doing the other day. I mentioned I don't like traffic, right? Y'all caught that? I like getting where I'm going in an efficient manner. If y'all don't know, I also have a Mercedes S550. It's fast. It's really nice. I grew up in that leaning trailer, so I know what that was about. So when I saw a chance that I might be able to get that Mercedes, and I sat in a Mercedes for the first time, I'm like, this is what they're talking about. And it's not good if you're in a negotiation with somebody that's trying to sell you something and they get you to sit down in a Mercedes for the first time, you're gonna lose in that negotiation. I put my hands on that steering wheel, I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be expensive. So anyway, I'm driving this car. And I'm on Grand Parkway going from my blood-sucking job to actually meet up with Mr. Pinso. It was on Monday. Back at the house, I'm on Grand Parkway, and 2 lanes, and then it opens up for a magical moment into 3 lanes. And it's an entrance ramp and an exit ramp, but it's about a mile long just because of how the road is and all those good things. So we don't have this 3rd lane for long. And I'm in the 2nd lane, the middle lane. I look over and I look around and I see this 18-wheeler. And in a split second of how we do when we drive and how we calculate things, I saw an opening. Not only did I see an opening, that's my destination, I saw mentally that I know the capabilities of this car, I know my capabilities, I'm gonna make it and be able to get in front of there, and it's smooth sailing, and I can be on time for my meeting, because I got caught in traffic and I was irritated at the time. That was my desire, was to not be in traffic anymore. I saw a destination that's gonna fulfill that desire, and I have a vehicle, and I know how to operate that vehicle to do it. If I didn't have all those things, do I go into that extra lane, hit 121 miles an hour, swear to God, really quickly too, and make that, and I literally, no doubt, had 10 feet to spare to be able to make it. Some of y'all might look at that and go, you are reckless, you're crazy, what's wrong with you? That's why they have jails for people like you. Here's the deal, I had a backup plan also. That was an exit ramp. I had a shoulder too in case all kinds of craziness goes out right there, like a tire blows. Or some idiot up there decides he's going to do the same thing and he's going to do it at 70 miles an hour. You got to have all these extra nice little plans on. That's how my brain works. But in literally in a split second, off I go. I would not have done it if I didn't know what I know. I know how to operate the car. I know where I want to go. When people began this, they had enough of a thought that said, yep, let's do this thing. And they stomped on the gas and they went in that lane and then they went for a little bit and they go, oh, I ain't gonna make it. Blinker. And they ain't here right now. Y'all see that?
Yes.
You gotta have both. That's why they're not here. If you don't know how to get there, you're not gonna go for it. It is imperative today that you see how to get there. And it can't just be information that you look at and go, good for you, I'm glad you know how to drive your car to be able to do that. That's fantastic. What about my car? Whatever it is you're driving, do you know how to operate it? Right now, does everybody, I want you to raise your hand if you feel completely confident to drive your Kyani vehicle to your destination that you just envisioned when he asked you to close your eyes. Raise your hand if you know exactly how to get there with Kyani. You know where you're going, but do you know how to operate it? 2 hands right now, 3, 4, 5, somewhere in there. That's okay, no, this is serious. We're going to do a check at the end. When I achieve my goal of this event, every hand is going to go up. If it doesn't, I'm going to keep working with you one-on-one to get you there. That is my intent. Everybody good? Yeah. All right. In front of you, you've got 4 pieces of paper. How many of you have already looked at it? How many of you already started scribbling on it? Good. I like it. The purpose of this document that you see, and you really only need 1 of them, we're going to need 4 total, but to understand how to drive this thing, we're going to go through each of the boxes. Let's take a look at it. Who here has never seen this document before? Raise your hand for me. Okay, good. So, let's go through it first. First thing at the top, notice it's at the top. Very important. Top of the mountain. That's going to be your why, your desires. Now don't fill it out yet. Okay? What I want y'all to do, put your pins down. What I want you to do is I want you to get this hardcore. Then we're going to put some stick figures, letters, words, wherever y'all, however you communicate on paper. We're going to get the picture in your brain first. Focus on that. Like he just said, does everybody have the destination in their head right now? Okay? That's what's going to go in that box. The next thing is that we're going to need to make all this car, to make this thing, this vehicle run, is you're going to need a list of people. Those are going to be names. Okay? Some high-tech stuff here, right? Y'all good with me so far? Let me know if I need to slow down. So we're going to put a name in there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about building rapport with each of these names. Okay? We're going to talk about how to pique someone's interest and find out how intense their desire is that we uncovered at the rapport stage. We're going to get them thinking. They're going to raise their hand. They're going to want to know more information. They're going to have more conversations with you. And then what we're going to do is we're going to edify and pass. Okay. So that's the idea. That's the theory. And this is what it looks like. You got one in front of you. Your why, your desires are going to go in that top box. Now here's a couple of things that we're going to do in each one of these stages. And this is going to be a workshop, so I'm not going to stand up all day, because it's going to be hot in this jacket too. Oh, put that somewhere else. What I want you to see is that I'm a technology guy. I like having all sorts of apps and computer programs and all of that. But a lot of people will get confused on the technology. It's a barrier. Mr. Pinso, he's not a technology guy. That's not his thing. He doesn't need to be. He's got people for that. He's got a whole IT department. He says what he needs, it goes, it gets done. A lot of people like technology. That's great. It's here. But I want to make something that it doesn't matter whatsoever about technology. That's why it's on a piece of paper. You don't have to worry about it breaking. Because if you've got a multi-million-dollar business, do you want it to be hinged upon one piece of technology? It'd be better that it's not. What happens if something happens to Facebook? Has anybody noticed that for those that are using Wellness Simplified, that we're having an issue with that right now? The geniuses at Facebook are having a problem. If your business relies solely on that, and there's no other way around that, you're stuck. You don't want to be there. I'm always looking not only how I can make it efficient, but also can I put a moat around it. I don't want the enemy to get in. I want to put alligators in the moat. So that's what this is. That's why it was designed this way, so that everybody can do this, so that you don't have to overcome yet another hurdle. There's enough hurdles on this journey. We don't need to add one. So that's what this paper's for. The why is everything. We've spent a lot of time already and we're not done on it yet. The rest of these steps are relatively simple. Name, y'all got that, right? We're going to dig into it though. Bio and phone number, you get it. We'll get into all this. But this is all it takes to be successful in this business. Nowhere on here is it saying anything about talking about blueberries. Everybody here love the blueberries though, right? They're incredible. Swear by them. But when you go out there and you start talking about that, things get completely off kilter. You don't see how to continue doing what you need to do. It confuses the situation. What do I tell them about the blueberries? How much do I need to know about the blueberries? How many do we have? Do bears eat them? Are they frozen? What? And then all of a sudden, get back in line. keep going to work like everybody else. This thing isn't going to work for me. Still have my desire, would love to get there one day, love to go fishing professionally, but don't know how to drive this car, I'm out. It can happen like that. It can happen in an instant that a decision is made and it kills off this possibility. So let's take that out. Let's factor it out. That's what this process does. It boils it down as far as I have been able to see so far. Will this be tweaked? I can guarantee it. Will there be different versions of this? I can guarantee it. Why? Because I will never stop tinkering on it. There will be new things that come out, new ideas that come out. That's how it works. Jake and I were talking about parkour earlier. Y'all know what that is? Parkour? Something that don't even know what that word was 20 years ago. It's a thing where people literally go out into urban environments and they jump on stuff. They jump over things. They go from one building to another building. They go up walls and do backflips and stuff. It's a thing. Not my thing. From the looks on Mindy's face, not her thing either.
That's cool.
But there's constantly new things that are going to happen. We got to be aware of them. We got to be able to have them. They're going to come into this as well. So don't look at this and later when you see some tweak to it go, well, I guess that's not working anymore. We're trying something different here. No. I want you to know where this is coming from. I want you to understand the years of what's gone into this stupid little high-tech document that's sitting in front of you on a piece of paper. There's been a lot that's gone into that. I want to break that down for you so that you get a sense of what's in there. Back to the car story. I don't need to know how the internal combustible engine works. I don't need to understand the computer system that it's got in there to shift through 9 different gears on that car to make it do what I do. That's somebody else's problem to handle all that. My job is to drive the thing. I'm going to give you all a sense of what goes into this so that you feel comfortable with it. So that you can say, you know what? Somebody built a really nice sports car for me and all I got to do is do this. I want you to know what's under the hood enough so that you trust the car to do what it needs to do. So that's why we're going to go deep. Because literally I can teach you how to use this document in about 15 minutes. But you got to trust it. It doesn't matter that it works. You got to trust it. If you don't trust it, you ain't going to use it. And next regional, you're going to be in that pile of people that didn't see a way up their mountain. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
Okay. So, before we get into the why, Brian did it a little bit with you. I'm going to go deeper with you. We're going to do focus and concentration exercise. I saw this the other day, and I broke it. Tony, I'm just kidding, dude, I got it. All right, can you like it? That's so good? Okay. So, this exercise that I saw was very, very, very cool. It was done by a Hindu guy. I don't know what they are. I just said Hindu guy, but is it like, I don't know, it's a priest or a monk or, I think he's a monk. Maybe a Hindu monk. Anyway, he was a cool looking dude. He literally had like paint on his head and he had the dot, and I don't know anything about all of that. I just was like, that looks cool, I'm gonna hit play. And then I got into it, I'm like, dude, subscribe. This guy's got it together. Really good stuff. So I'm going to attempt to do, I'm not going to do as well as he did, but I'm going to attempt, and you're going to like this, and it's a very interesting, a couple of y'all practiced this with me the other night when we did an event. But we're going to talk about focus and concentration because we practice distraction very well, okay? Tracy is distracted right now. It's okay. You're not the only one. Has anybody looked at their phone since this event has started? Be honest, raise your hand if you looked at me. Come on. Some of y'all lying out your, okay. I think everybody's looked at it at some point today. Some of you didn't even know you did it. So I don't know if that's lying or not, but you don't even remember that you did it. That's true distraction, when you didn't even know you were being distracted. So has anybody ever went to a class, spent like a semester college course or extra development, a weekend course, some book that you read that was totally devoted to concentration? Raise your hand if you have. Yeah? Tell me a little bit about the course or what it was.
It was basically, it was an English course, and this is many years back, you know, but there was a lot of distractions with, you know, within it itself, you know, I mean, it was little noises here and there, but, well, it was a test that we had to do. It was a test, and I had to actually go in there and, you know,
Learn how to do it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Very good. Terry, you raise your hand.
Yeah, I'm not sure it exactly fits the category, but it was a meditation course I took in California.
Yeah, cool.
25, 30.
A lot of people will associate the same thing to meditation and that, huh? Yeah, so what I want you to do is consider that we don't practice that. We don't go to courses for that. You know how to do math and maybe decent at algebra, and we spent a long time on that. How much do you use algebra on a daily basis now? Okay, good. So I saw something literally last night that this is perfect for it. It said, it was deep thoughts. Deep shower thoughts, I think is what it was called. Yeah. Because that's where you have the best thoughts, right? That are in the, anyway. So, the other thing in the bathroom. So, it said, school was not to teach you real life skills other than to teach you to get up early and go do something that you can't stand for a long period of time. Damn! That's spot on. Algebra, what the hell was that all about? Had to get up early to do it though. That was the secret of what they were doing, to get you okay with spending 8 to 10 to 12 hours with people that you really don't want to be with, doing stuff you really don't want to do. Yeah, anyway, I thought that was fascinating. So we don't practice this. We don't understand how to do concentration. So we get distracted by anything. Our phone being the biggest one right now for most people. But it's always been distractions out there. You think about this, whatever demands your attention, your awareness, your focus, is taken away from what it is that you really, really, really wanted to look at. I can tell my kids, concentrate. I might as well right after that and do it in Chinese too. Because they're going to be just as successful as both of those, because me telling somebody to concentrate, how do I concentrate? How do I speak Chinese? I don't know. We never practice it. We never figure out how to do it. So it's important to understand why we want to do it. If you don't focus, we say it all the time, focus on your dream, focus on the destination. I don't know how to focus. You don't practice it. You're damn good at getting distracted though, aren't you? Why? Because you practice it approximately 16 to 20 hours a day, 7 days a week for your entire lives. Isn't that interesting? So we're going to do a little exercise here, but let me frame this up. There's two parts that goes into this little thing. There's your mind and there's your awareness. Think of your mind like a hotel with a lot of different rooms. And in each one of those rooms, we'll call this the Kayani room. Okay? There was the Starbucks room down there. That's where coffee or go-go juice or lunch or breakfast or whatever. You've got that room associated with something in your mind. You go there for that. In your mind, you've got all of your stuff. Brian mentioned about the ability to go back 6 years in time to see that thing that you were thinking about way back when. That's where it's stored. That's a room in your mind, is how this little exercise was set up. There's a gazillion different ways of describing that, but play along. So has everybody got that clear? In your mind is a whole bunch of rooms, and you've got your hungry room, you've got your vacation room, you've got your driving room, you've got all these different spots that are in your brain. The awareness is like walking into that room with a flashlight. It's this glowing orb of light that comes into that room. Right now, you're in the Kayani room, your awareness is on the Kayani. But a little second ago, Tracy, and I'm picking on you because I love you, her mind went to Well, actually her awareness went to another spot in her mind. It went to the Facebook room, or the text room, or the whatever email room. She has a lot going on in her life like everybody does. And she needed to take her awareness off of here and take it somewhere else. If you're doing it intentionally, that's a great thing. The problem is, it's very easy for us to go in these different rooms in our mind constantly by somebody else manipulating that. They're moving your light, your flashlight. They're moving your orb around. It's important that you learn how to control your orb and keep it where you want it. It's very easy for it to go all over the place. Ever talk to somebody that is always like ADHD level, needed to be medicated or give some sunrise to? Like, you need to triple up, buddy. They don't stay in one thing. They don't stay at one spot. And you're not as effective when you're all around. You got one thing. You got one light bulb. Okay? Everybody that thinks that they've got multiple, oh, I can multitask. No, you can't. We ain't wired that way. It's not a dual processor. It's a single processor. You think you can. What you're doing is you're going back and forth really, really fast so that you give the illusion that you're multitasking. No, you're not. You're doing one task, and then the next femtosecond, which is a lot of zeros in there, you're on to the next thing. That's how fast our brain goes. So it gives the illusion of, I'm doing multiple things. No, you're not. You can't write an email and listen to the other thing concurrently. You can have those words come in, stored in there somewhere, and then you shift your awareness to those words, but when that happens, you ain't typing anymore. Not with anything that actually makes sense. Go with me?
Yep.
So you understand these two concepts. So what I want to do is I want to do an example. I want to do an exercise with you all, and I need everybody's full participation in this thing. Okay? So what we're going to do is everything out of your hands. I want you to move your chair back to the table behind you, so don't smash anybody's fingers, so that you can have full room in front of you. And I want you to put both feet on the ground. Okay? Get yourself kind of, Actually, let's take a, before we do that, go ahead and stand up real fast. Let's give everybody, move around a little bit. We've been sitting for a little bit. All right? Give your neighbor next to you a big hug if you like them. Did you notice where she went? That was awesome. All right. Go ahead and grab a seat. Now, everything out of your hands, both feet on the ground. Sit up a little bit on the edge there, not leaning back against it. Put both hands on your knees. And then what I want you to do is I want everybody to go ahead and close your eyes on this one. Okay, and keep them closed. All right? Everybody take a real slow breath in. Now I want you to become aware of the room that you're sitting in right now. Any sounds that you hear? Do you hear the air conditioner? Are you close enough to hear the projector? Do you hear the slight hum coming out of the speaker behind you and to your right? Do you hear my voice?
Hear people in the hallway.
Do you hear Tony talking? Now I want you to flash over and remember the last wedding that you attended. Was it your own wedding? Was it somebody else's wedding? Did you go by yourself? Who did you go with? Was it a large wedding? Was it an intimate wedding? Did you approve of the wedding? Did they have food? What did you eat? What did you drink? Did you have too much to drink? How was the bride's dress? Now I want you to think about the last vacation that you went on. Where did you go? What kind of vacation was it? Was it an adventure vacation? Was it a relaxing vacation? How long were you at that spot? How was the weather? Did you spend a lot of money on that vacation? How was the food? Was it spicy? Was it bland? Did you get sick? Now I want you to become aware of the room again. Do you hear the air conditioner again? Do you feel the seat that you're sitting in? Is it comfortable? Do you hear my voice? All right, now open your eyes. Whoa. Anybody go anywhere? You went to different rooms in your mind. Everybody's was different. But you experienced it again, didn't you? When you were experiencing that, did you notice that there were letters and words and numbers in that? What did you experience? What did you feel? You felt being there. You smelt it. You remembered. You saw pictures in your brain, like going through a movie or going through an old book. Being able to get somebody to do that is a very powerful thing. You just experienced something. It's not taking notes. You will always remember this because of what just happened. You won't remember every detail about it. You won't remember all of the words I said, but you'll remember the things, and we just created a new room today. And that's how it works. And it's also very easy to have somebody manipulate that in your own brain. I got in your head by me exhaling and moving my mouth and tongue around. I made words come out that hit your ear, got processed by this thing, and you did what you just did. If you think about that, that's kind of weird, isn't it? That's the power of what words can do. You can take people places, and they can experience things. Or you can give them information. See the difference? See how powerful that is? The other lesson here that I got out of it that I want to share with you guys is you got to focus where you put your awareness. Y'all are real good at focusing at work for the most part. 30% of the time. Have you ever checked Facebook while you're at the office? You raise your hand for that one? Anybody? It's a distraction, right? For the task at hand. It's one thing to be distracted because the phone rings. You have a choice on picking up the phone or continuing what you're doing. Some of you operate as if you have no choice in what you're focusing on. You're giving that to somebody else. If you let them manipulate you, you're going to work for them. If you want to keep working for them, cool. I think most of us in here desire something different. But you're not focusing on that desire. It's one thing to know the destination. It's another thing to be distracted away from it. Make that room in your mind an intense one that needs awareness. It needs attention. You got to feed the bamboo tree. When you don't, it doesn't grow. How many of you struggled with any of those parts that I just talked about? Be honest with me. This is an important part of the exercise too. Did you? What was happening?
I got distracted.
Got distracted, and you were focusing on something else that got your awareness. Your orb went from that. What what distracted it?
I'm actually trying to remember, but I don't remember if it was the wedding or if it was but
Yep.
something that happened that I was thinking about.
Yep.
triggered me
Yep,
somewhere else.
we call it squirrel. Squirrel.
Yes.
Was it me talking?
Yep,
That's
You as well.
awkward.
Yeah.
what'd you experience?
When you asked about the last vacation,
Mhm.
it's like everything went blank, and I'm like, oh crap, what was the last vacation? And the only vacation I can remember was the worst one I had.
Wow,
So I felt like a ping pong ball in my head, because you said it was a orb of light, and so it was like, wait a minute. Okay.
yeah, that ping pong ball, that ball moving all around, going here, going there, going there, going there.
But I took everything, and it was, I didn't see everything. I saw it as if it was in this room.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're digging into this because you don't dig into it. And you're distracted all damn day. And here's what's really interesting. We did that exercise approximately 180 seconds ago. And she can't remember what distracted her. I'm not doing the pick on it. Everybody in this room suffers from this thing. Me too. Become aware of it though. And be intentional in what you're focused on. If you can influence is making somebody else pay attention to what you want them to pay attention to. I am exercising influence over all of you right now by taking you through this journey today. I'm doing this so that you can become aware, and that's my intent, is that you go up your mountain and achieve your summit. I am trying to equip you on how to drive this car very efficiently and very fast. You got to know where you want to go. You got to know how to operate the car. This is one of the ways we operate the car. If you don't focus on it, you're on to the next thing. Prioritization is another thing. What's most important to you? Oh, I got to do this. No, you don't. There is nobody that's got a gun to your head in this country right now telling you got to go do this. You're making a choice. Be in control of the fact that you have ultimate choice. You can choose to get pissed off about traffic, or you can get over it. Just so you know, the fastest way to get over it is to focus on it intently, go as deep as you can with it, and understand it doesn't matter. And then you can put that aside, and you don't have to go back to that room anymore. Practice that. Truly practice that. And I'm not asking for a miracle here. I'm asking you to do it twice a day. Be intentional about it, if you're serious about what you desire. And here's how it works. If it's important to you, you'll do it. If it's not important to you, you won't. If you believe in it, you'll do it. If it's not important to you, you won't. It's a choice. Focus on it. Get your awareness on that. If you do that, you will see an absolute shift in you going up this mountain. You'll become aware of it. And when you're aware of it, it goes lightning fast. Question?
Actually, during the exercise, I had two real good memories. One of them was the last wedding I went to, which was Jake and Candace. And I got to shoot pictures, so I was seeing pictures kind of popping up on the screen of what I got images of, as well as, you know, the smells in the room, the taste of the food, the great camaraderie. I mean, the people that were there, the love that was in that room. And then when you went to vacations, I've taken a lot of trips this spring and summer, and I was trying to, for a second I was bouncing around going, did I really take vacations, or were these business trips, or were these funerals, or whatever? And I came to the conclusion in about 3 seconds that every trip is a vacation if I say so.
That's well said right there.
And the trip out to LA for John C. Maxwell was truly a dream vacation.
Yeah, that's very good. I appreciate you sharing that, and that's very important. And I want a lot of that as we move through the day. I want more of that. I would love for people to stand up or just from your seat and raise your hand on it and share this, because this is how you experience. Because when he was saying that, guess what you did? You went somewhere again. And it ties it back to what you desire. It all comes back down to that. If you can try to knock it down to about 3 major things in your life, areas that you want to focus on, it's an amazing formula. Also know that there's a 4th quadrant, and it's called the devil's vortex. Okay? And in that devil's vortex are all the other nonsense that you don't really desire, but it's just getting you through the day. I gotta do dishes when I get home because my wife's flying in and she's gonna see the house is a mess, and that's not gonna be good. Not really my desire to do the dishes. What's my desire? Her not to be pissed off at me. But guess what? Not top priority, because the other three things are the ones that are really focusing on my priorities, and therefore the dishes are still in the sink, and they will be there when she gets there before I get home. Why? Because I made a conscious decision on which one was a higher priority. Based on your personality, based on the drugs that your brain releases into your system that you have become addicted to. You ever heard about this? You know what serotonin is, dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins. Y'all heard these words. You don't really have a picture in your brain of exactly what it is. I still don't know how all of them line up just exactly, but I was made aware, so I was like, holy, this is pretty interesting stuff. How many of you are goal-directed, type A, winning the video game? Dang, really? That's so strange. I didn't know. How many of y'all don't like video games whatsoever and don't see the point in them? Raise your hand. Those same people that raised your hand, do you like hanging out with other people and socializing and being in groups? Without a doubt. My son loves playing video games. I love playing video games. My wife and daughter look at us and go, y'all are kind of weird. You're in a little room. It's dark. The noise is real loud. And y'all been in there for like 9 hours straight and nobody's left to get a snack. Why don't y'all come out and be with the family?
Breathe fresh air.
Yeah, all those things. Mom, we're just about to get the Mega Man skin for the 100th win in a row on Fortnite. You don't understand. Let me explain the behind the scenes of that. My son is driven by dopamine. He is goal directed. He is a drug addict at 12 for dopamine. That's why he can go 15 hours straight without eating. My wife and daughter are addicted to oxytocin, which is the love drug. It's the one where you want to be in a community and bake cookies together and sing Kumbaya and watch Sex in the City and cry on Hallmark Channel. And now Tony put his hand up, so I want y'all to think about Tony sitting there watching Hallmark Channel, losing his shit, watching that. Now here's the deal, we all are addicted to some level with all of those. That drives our personality. It's physical biology of what happens in our systems. What we get addicted to, that's the thing that we keep going after. We need another bump of that stuff. And that's why we do the things that we do. It's very, very interesting to see that. So based on what you desire, that's where your focus is. Your focus is there because why? Because all of the things that we're going to put in that top box when we get to it here in just a second are based on what makes you feel good. Right, Linda?
You bet.
We had a breakthrough with Linda the other day. We got all the way down to when you keep asking why, most likely it's going to come down to because it makes me feel good. Whatever your why is, it makes you feel good. We're a bunch of junkies. If you struggle with that, I'm not trying to make light of that situation, but roll with me here. It's just how it is.
Adrenaline.
It's adrenaline. People that jump out of airplanes, perfectly good ones that aren't on fire. So you've seen the ones where they put like the little bat suit on and they jump off a mountain and they're flying. Holy crap! I'm looking at them going, you dumbass. Why? Because I'm not addicted to that drug at all. And in fact, when I see that stuff, it causes another drug to be released in my system called cortisol. That's the one that goes, anxiety, I'm not doing that. Some people live for the other one. Some of them will risk their life doing it. Some of y'all thought I was crazy for going 120 miles an hour. I wasn't doing it for the rush of going fast. I was doing it because I was getting ahead of traffic and I got my bump of dopamine because I was goal directed that I could hit that thing with 10 feet to spare. 120 was just the thing to get me there.
Yeah.
When you're driven like that, you don't care about all the other stuff. I must accomplish my goal at all costs and play Fortnite for the next 9 hours. So it's important to know you and know what drives you. But when it comes down, that's going to help you with your why also. Focus on the things that make you feel good. Don't do the things that you have to do for other people unless that's the thing that makes you feel good. Maybe that's your why, to serve other people. I'm addicted to that as well. I like helping people. But when it comes back down to it, my why, when I help serve other people, I'll be straight up honest with you, the drug that I get was the accomplishment of my goal, which is for you to accomplish your goal. It's different for other people on how that works. You get a different bump from the different drug based on your personality. For me, it's a means to an end. You guys succeeding is amazing. I love that. Everybody, because of the way the species is built, it comes back to self-survival, the thing that we need. Be okay with that. Don't get wigged out. Some people say, I shouldn't want a Mercedes S550. That's greedy. And when you hear greedy, you get a cortisol dump, and that's the bad one. Because you've associated other people's opinion of that. If you want the car, go get the damn car. If you don't want the car, don't get the car. But don't let it be based on what somebody else told you to do, and they manipulate your awareness and your focus. Is this coming together for y'all?
Yeah.
Cool. See how powerful this is? I mean, we're talking X's and O's on biological life here, of what causes us to do what we do. We didn't even know it. Now, there's no test later. No cortisol dump for all of y'all that didn't like taking tests. David's like, damn it, I was going to ace that son of a gun. This is what I'm talking about, going deep so that you feel this. You're touching this right now. You're touching this source. So that when it comes back to it, it makes doing this a whole lot easier. And you know why you need to do this. This is driving the car right now. We're getting ready to fill this thing out. All the other stuff I've been telling you to lead up to that, when it's all said and done, blah, 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 more information, interesting stuff, kind of neat. Don't really need to know how the combustible engine works. I just need to drive the damn car. I'm going to teach you how to drive a car, but I want you to know what goes into it. With me? So now it's time to fill this out. You've got 4 pages. Well, Casey, I just wrote it on the first page. I don't need to write it on the next pages. Incorrect statement. I want your focus to be, going back one slide here, I want your focus. I want you to focus. I want you to promise me you'll focus at least twice a day on the most important thing of your existence, which is your desire. Some of you will spend more time figuring out what you're going to have for dinner than you are on your life's desire. That is an awareness problem and a prioritization problem. Change that. Or don't. Your choice. But if you want to make a step up the mountain, that's a real easy one to do. You might say, well, that's stupid. I just wrote that down this morning. Why do I need to write it down this evening too? Because you're being distracted. You already proved it. So if you desire your desire, this is how you operate the car to get to it. Write it down twice a day.
Casey,
Yes, ma'am.
can you do the whole maybe vision on your mirror, like morning and night type of thing to remind you, or do you literally think writing it is more?
It's an interesting thing, back to the physiology, biology. When we do this action, we've been doing it so long, it's burned some neural pathways that cause a certain part of your brain to light up, to put it in the right room, that doing this makes that more effective. What makes it even more effective than doing that is speaking it out loud. My wife got back from a previous trip. She got home and I said, baby, I need to inform you of a couple things that have changed here recently while you've been gone. Fear comes over her face, cortisol dump, all those good things. She said, what is it? I said, you will notice that approximately between 6:45 and 8 in the morning, when I might be in the library, you will hear words emanating from there as if I am on stage speaking to a large audience. This will occur again somewhere between 11 and 1 a.m. in the morning, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. when I'm in the shower. I will be giving the same speech again. She's like, you're so freaking weird. Yes, I am, baby. We go to the top of the mountain. And in that, I give a speech on what it is I accomplished, past tense, as if it's already occurred because my brain doesn't know the difference. Just like when you go to a movie and you're sitting in the dark room for an hour and a half to 2 hours, you experience so many different things such as fear, excitement, sexual desire, hunger, everything that the directors and the producers wanted you to feel going through a journey by putting stupid little pixels up on here and having a whole bunch of sound come out of speakers. And you experience all those things. The brain, does anybody, well, besides Tony, we know that. Has anybody ever cried at a movie? Is that not the dumbest thing in the world? If you get down to the biology of it, it's like, dude, it's a freaking movie. But that's not what it is. Your brain couldn't tell the difference. It felt the empathy. It experienced all those things as if you were there with them. Focus your desire for approximately 30 seconds, giving your speech of what you are writing in this box. Do it in the morning, do it in the evening. Do it every time that you become aware of it. You want to freak people out at work? Walk down the hall and do it. It's cool. It will cause a conversation to occur. Yep. And that's okay. Or you can try to fit in with everybody else that's sitting out there in the little ocean of life in their little inner tube, got a little hat on with a little umbrella, paddling with one hand in a circle, going up and down with the waves, having no direction and not doing anything. And there's literally billions of them out there doing that. How many people you think do something like this? Not too many. But guess what? It's easy to do, it's easy not to do. This ain't that hard to do. You just gotta desire it. Who does not have their box filled out? I'd fill it out faster if you'd shut up. Not done yet?
No.
Not done? Go ahead and fill out the box. If you're done, go ahead and stand up for me and walk around a little bit, get some blood flowing in your legs again. And no rush while you're filling this out. There is no time limit on this. I want everybody to get this. Yes, sir. You just need to do it once for now. If you feel inspired to fill out another one, go for it.
Okay, so let me clarify.
Yep.
So, in our why, it's our speech that we want to give, or past tense, or is it?
I write it as past tense. It's more effective because your mind doesn't like a vacuum. It wants to be congruent with what you're saying. When you're truly serious about something and you make your mind up on it, it gets done, right? You
So
will,
our three main goals and desires written in a
past tense way that has already occurred. In October of 2018, I was making $20,000 a month. In December of 2018, I was making $50,000 a month. When I turned 45 years old, on that month, in October, I was making $1 million a week. I achieved that by helping hundreds of thousands of people and impacting their lives while building relationships every step along the way. That's what I did. That's mine. That's the speech that my wife gets to hear twice a day. Who's stuck? It's easy to get stuck here too, by the way. This isn't easy. Good? Or stuck? No, no worries. How about you? Past tense? If that freaks you out, do it in present tense. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Just need 3 and 4. What do you got?
Whatever you desire.
You know, bad.
It was a good question. How many do I put in here? Whatever you desire. This is you. You got one thing, do your one thing. You got 27, put them in there. Bernie, you good? Excellent.
Thank you.
Something I saw about YouTube videos about suing the school system.
About suing the school system?
Yeah, some kid that came up with the way you were taught in school.
Yeah,
Past.
yeah.
Now.
Yeah,
Or going.
that's cool.
I don't remember the name of it now. It was really impactful.
Anybody ever get any of this type of training in school?
No, sir.
Anybody feel a little gypped?
Yep.
What was school designed for? To get you up early, go to a place that you can't stand and sit there for 8 to 10 hours.
And face the front like you're gonna be in a factory.
Sit down, shut up, don't talk to the person next to you. You need to build widgets today.
Right. It's like a fish climbing the trees.
GH.
Okay. Still got some folks. Good. While we have a few folks finishing up, who wants to share what they wrote down?
I will.
Mr. Jones, what you got, sir?
So I have save 100,000 lives, and then be stable, or be able to help mom and dad retire the next 5 years.
Yeah, mom like that.
That's $6,000 a month. Pay off these student loans, mine and Tara's, about 100 grand, and then buy a retirement home, preferably right now it's Jamaica.
Yeah.
$500,000 house, and then have my boat as well. Join Ryan. I love to fish as well, and that's a $100,000 boat.
Beautiful. Very good. Did everybody see that as he was saying those things? Let's dig. You up for digging with me a little bit? So the 100,000, what does that do for you?
100,000 lives.
Why'd you pick that?
Because I've seen just impacting and helping other people on how it can change people's lives and alter their mind, body, and spirit, and how much better people will live if they can and have better health. And so that's my number that I choose to be able to dedicate, and that number will continue to go up.
Gotcha.
I want to start with that.
Nice. What does that do for you, though?
It gives me great feelings and great thoughts that I've been able to impact somebody's lives, like we talk about all
Did y'all
the time.
feel that in the room? Did you feel the difference of what he was saying before was a speech, and then he tapped into something different right there, downshifted, and it was different. His voice got deeper, more direct, he lit up like a Christmas tree. Did y'all feel that? That's the why. The other thing is the vehicle that gets to the why. And everything you said is amazing and absolutely accurate. And I know you and I know that's what you want to do. But it's not the driver, it's the vehicle. The way you're going to get that feeling is not going to be done where you're at right now. The feeling that you're going to get is going to be provided by the impact you're going to make to 100,000 people. That's the vehicle. Feel the difference?
Yeah.
Did y'all feel the difference? Very good, thank you. That's awesome. Who else wants to share? Oh, her hand went up. I thought she was scratching her eyebrow, but her hand still went up. And tell everybody your name. I don't know if everybody knows everybody.
My name's Gloria. Okay,
Stand up for us. This is big stuff.
Here you go.
Oh, thank you. Gloria.
Okay, is it on?
Yep.
Hold on one second. It's probably on. He needs to flip the switch over here. Yep, you're good.
All right, first and foremost, my desire is to walk right with God. My desire is to be the best version of who I am. My desire is to have amazing quality time with my children and myself. My desire is to take my life into the next level. My desire is to give more of myself to others. My desire is to teach my children what I am learning and becoming. My desire is to live life with passion and purpose, financial freedom, living life to my fullest potential. In return, becoming an amazing mom, friend, sister, spouse, and mentor.
Woo, that was awesome. You give her a hand for that. You need that. You good with working with me on this?
Yeah.
You mentioned financial, say it again, I want to get it just right.
Financial freedom,
Why?
the struggles that I've been in
Yeah.
in the past.
Yep. Why don't you want to deal with those anymore?
Tired of being in that vehicle. Looking for
What's
change.
it? Yeah, what's that vehicle for you right now? That vehicle that you don't want to be in, what is that for you right now?
Doing the same thing I've been doing.
Yeah. Feel like kind of in a hamster wheel?
Right.
Keep on and keep on and keep on. What does the freedom give you though? To have that financial, that money coming in each month, what does that do for you? Why is that important to you?
It's to make a better life for my kids and for myself.
Why is that important to you?
Because it makes me feel good to know that I can do that.
Do you feel the release at the end?
Yes.
That's the thing. Everything she said is absolutely accurate. Every part of it was heartfelt. But that last part, the room felt it. Your why has to be at that level. And when you hit that and you had that release, your eyes went up and you saw something in your mind, didn't you? There was a picture that happened. When you were saying all the other stuff, you were reading stick figures on a piece of paper. Stick figures cannot give you the same feeling. But when you looked up and I physically watched you do it, that's when your eyes go up to your brain. Interrogators use it as a tell. And depending on which way you look is which side of the brain you're engaging. And you got into something that you saw a picture. Now, I'm not at the stage of I can tell you all those types of things and all that. I just know that you saw something. I felt it. Do you mind sharing what that picture was for you?
Just joy, happiness,
Cool.
family.
Y'all feel that? So that's what you want to put, however you can best put that in words. Stupid little stick figures that we were taught when we were younger that elicit, when I see that thing, when I see focus, my mind does something. I don't see the letters focus in my brain in that picture when I look up. I see a thing. I had a feeling that when focus is said, I've translated that. The same way, that's how we can speak multiple languages. When you get a language, it's not that you remember all of the vocabulary words, it's that when you recognize a pattern of those stick figures going together, it means something to you. Who here knows how to speak multiple languages? When you first learned the second language, do you remember when you started dreaming in that language? Everybody has that when you're learning another language. That's when you start getting it. Why? And it goes a whole lot faster after that in being able to have that second language. Because it's another version of stick figures that you've then rewired your brain. When I see that, I feel this. Your why has to be that thing. It's got to be the picture in your brain that you see. The more emotional you get about that, the more powerful it is. That's why when you just write words down, it doesn't do a damn thing for you. How many people have written their goals down before today? How many of you, keep your hand up if you hit them? It's got to be how real is it to you. It hasn't affected you yet. It's words on a page. Now it's something that's more important. Most trainings spend about 4.5 minutes on this topic. We've spent 2.5 hours. Do y'all feel it? If you don't have this and you don't know how to go up the mountain, you ain't going to get there. Now you know where you want to go. If you don't feel that yet, do the same exercise. Keep digging, keep digging. Typically the thing you say right before it makes me feel good is going to be the picture is going to flash in your brain. Work on that. Dig into that. Focus on that. Make that a room that you put your little orb in there for a little bit. Do it twice a day. Do it in the morning. Do it in the evening. Important to do it in that timing also. Why? Because your subconscious is going to chew on that problem while you're sleeping. Ever wake up in the morning with something you've been battling with for a while and you wake up and say, oh, got it solved. Ding! Or in the shower? All stuff happens in the shower, right? It's crazy. You ever get done being in the shower and have that deep conversation with yourself and forgot if you actually washed your hair or not? Then you wash it again, you're like, I am such a dumbass. Ever do it 3 times? That's when you know it's an important topic. All right. So everybody's filled it out. Good.